Yes, ma'am.
We have tried to contact her in every way we know how, so whatever you want to do.
Okay. The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Grab.
Ms. Mahone, thank you. What's your, who are you employed by?
The Department of Family and Protective Services.
And what is your current position with DFPS?
I am an investigator
And how long have you been employed with DFPS as an
for,
investigator?
for 4 years
Okay, and what are your primary duties as an investigator?
to investigate reports of abuse and neglect and determine whether abuse or neglect has taken place.
Okay, and what training or experience do you have in child welfare?
Well, over the past 4 years with the department, I have gained extensive training that helps me spot signs of abuse, such as like crisis intervention, interviewing techniques, decision-making skills, trauma-informed training, things like that.
Okay, are you familiar with the case involving the child Kingston Lewis and his mother Tuesday Dotson and father Matthew Dotson?
Yes.
I'm sorry,
And
Mr. Grab. I think the father is Matthew Lewis.
actually, the testimony will establish he's been ruled out as the father, Your Honor. He was an alleged father at the beginning of the case.
All right. Didn't know that. Go ahead.
And did you file a petition in this case?
Yes, I did.
And when was that filed?
On January 14th of this year.
Okay, how old was Kingston when you filed the petition?
He was 4 days old.
Did the department have a history with this family?
No.
Okay, did they have any CPS history to your knowledge?
Yes, so they had some history out of North Carolina.
Okay, and at the time of filing, were there questions about Kingston's paternity?
Yes.
Okay, and who was identified as alleged father or fathers in this matter?
Matthew Dotson, who was Tuesday's Dotson's husband, and then Matthew Lewis, who was her boyfriend at the time.
Okay, were Mr. and Mrs. Dotson still legally married at the time the case was filed?
Yes.
Okay, what allegations caused the department to become involved?
The department got involved due to neglectful supervision of Kingston by Tuesday.
Okay, and what did you do to investigate?
So of course, I gathered all of my information. So we got the intake. I reviewed the intake. I contacted collaterals. I went out and with both Tuesday and Matthew Lewis at the hospital, seen the baby, and just kind of did my assessment with them.
Okay, and what did that investigation reveal about Kingston and his parents?
So Tuesday had recently, so in December of 2024, like about 2 or 3 weeks prior to me getting my intake, Tuesday's two older children were removed by North Carolina due to concerns for her mental health.
Okay, and was there anything specific about the mental health that you learned as part of your investigation?
Yes, so she has self-harmed herself in the presence of of her children with a knife.
Okay, and were there any concerns, any other concerns besides Tuesday's mental health? Anything about the fathers?
There was some concerns for some possible drug usage.
Okay. Um, were there questions about jurisdiction at the outset prior to filing?
Yes, there was some questions between North Carolina and Texas.
Okay. Did the mother make representations at the time that she had relatives here and had contacts with the state and was planning on staying in Texas?
Yes.
Okay. And were there any concerns about her potentially leaving with the baby, going back to North Carolina?
Yes, there were some concerns.
Okay. And did she engage in conduct or knowingly place Kingston with persons who engaged in conduct that endangered his physical or emotional well-being?
Did she? She did.
Okay. And is that the reason why you filed?
Yes.
Okay. Um, did she also engage in conduct or knowingly allow Kingston to remain in conditions or surroundings that endangered his physical or emotional well-being?
Mm, Can you say that one more time? Sorry.
Yeah, did she engage in conduct or otherwise allow Kingston to remain in conditions or surroundings that had endangered his physical or emotional well-being?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And were you able to safety plan with her?
No, the department wasn't able to put a safety plan in place.
Why not?
Because the individual that they had identified to be a supervising party, after doing some further investigation, we found out that he wasn't suitable for the role.
Okay. And so she did identify a relative or fictive kin placement?
Yeah,
Okay. You were not able to place with them?
yeah. So this person was just for it to be a supervising party, not for a placement.
Okay. Did she identify anyone who could be a placement, either relative or fictive kin?
No.
Okay. Where was he ultimately placed?
So initially his initial placement was the hospital, so Northwest Texas Hospital, and then later on he was placed in foster care, which St. Francis handled.
Okay. Did you participate in the adversary hearing?
Yes, I did.
Was it agreed or was it contested?
It was contested.
Okay. Was there anything unusual about that hearing?
Yes, so Tuesday she chose to represent herself instead of having an attorney appointed to her or hiring one.
Okay. And switching gears for a moment to the alleged fathers, how much contact, if any, did you have with Mr. Dodson?
So I had a couple of conversations with him.
Okay. Was he able to be a placement resource for his son?
No, at the time he was not.
What about Mr. Lewis?
No, he was not either.
Were Ms. Dodson and Mr. Lewis living together at that time of the filing?
Yes.
That is.
Yes, they
Yes.
were.
Okay. Thank you. Was there a danger to Kingston's physical health and safety caused by the mother's mental health and the father's suspected substance abuse, as well as the recent removal of her children in North Carolina?
Yes, there was.
And what was that danger?
Um, for like her main danger, because her other two children were removed due to the worries for her mental health. And then when I interviewed her, she had mentioned her past struggles with her mental health and self-harming as well. So that raised concerns about her well-being. And then, just given the situation with her two children being removed of her mental health concerns, we did have concerns for Kingston's physical health and safety if he continued to remain in her care, just because, parents who struggle with their mental health, they just struggle to, they find it difficult to meet their children's needs and just foster that strong parent-child bond. So,
Right. So would you say it was contrary to Kingston's welfare to be returned to either parent for those reasons?
yes,
Okay. And you said Mr. Dotson was not presenting himself as a parenting resource. Is that right?
yes.
And did he mention why?
Because at the time he was just unstable. He was living with somebody else, so his living situation was kind of just everywhere.
Okay. And so would you say that the urgent need for Kingston's protection required his immediate removal?
Yes.
What efforts were made to prevent the removal?
So we did attempt to put a safety plan in place where both parents would be monitored with him. We just weren't able to find a suitable supervising party.
Okay. And was Ms. Dodson receptive to services at the time that you filed?
No.
Okay. Would you say there was a substantial danger if Kingston remained in her care?
Yes.
And was that for the reasons previously stated, or were other reasons?
Yeah, the reasons previously stated. Yes, sir.
Okay. And was temporary managing conservatorship established at the adversary hearing?
Yes.
Okay. And when did the case transfer to St. Francis?
So St. Francis took over the case on January 14th because they were responsible for placing him into foster care on that day, but they officially took over after that, the hearing.
How old was Kingston when you filed?
He was 4 days old.
Okay. And do you recall who was the assigned permanency specialist with St. Francis?
Tiffany Brown.
Okay. Thank you. Pass the witness.
Ms. Molnax,
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Mahone, earlier you said that Tuesday Dodson had allowed the child to remain in conditions or surroundings that endangered his physical health or emotional well-being. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes.
He was removed from the hospital after his birth, is that correct?
Yes.
So what conditions did she allow him to remain in if he was in the hospital from birth until removal?
The conditions as far as her untreated mental health.
And so the conditions, I mean, he was in the hospital the entire time. He never went home with her, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Were there any incidents that you're aware of at the hospital where she was a danger to the child?
I do know that when I had made contact with her and Matthew, she was very like frustrated with him when I had ended up speaking with him outside of the hospital room, and she ended up coming outside and seeing that he was speaking to me alone. She kind of blew up, so that did kind of show.
And was the child present in the hallway whenever that happened?
No, the child was left in the room.
Okay. And you talked about at the beginning that she had some self-harming behaviors in North Carolina. When you talked to her, she actually told you that was not correct, right?
About the situation?
Right. She told you that she did not intentionally harm herself. Is that correct?
She said that she didn't intentionally do it, yeah.
And so after the investigation and the department was named temporary managing conservator, were you involved anymore for any of this case?
Nothing outside of like attempting to meet with her to complete my removal paperwork and stuff. No.
I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Wiggins?
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Mahone, when you met with Ms. Dotson, just like Ms. Mullinex said, y'all did talk about the incident that happened in North Carolina in December. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so from your understanding of the incident, from your investigation, from your talking to other individuals that's in North Carolina, and from talking to Mr. Lewis, who was there, did her story, was it consistent with what you had found to be collaterally what happened?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And did it appear that she was minimizing her mental health issues?
Yes, ma'am.
And were her children removed in North Carolina because of the danger she placed them in because of her mental health?
Yes,
Object to
ma'am.
speculation, Your Honor.
Same.
Now, in regards to the talking to Ms. Dotson, since that time in December, was it your understanding she had not gotten any mental health treatment?
Yes, ma'am.
So she had not addressed any of the concerns that had happened in December that resulted in the removal of her children?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, in regards to the individual that she was with at the time, Mr. Lewis, did he indicate that there were concerns?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did Ms. Dotson also indicate that Mr. Lewis was using drugs?
Yes, ma'am.
And so she was around him while she was pregnant with this baby, even though she knew he was doing drugs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in regards to that relationship, did they also indicate that they had issues, verbal altercations and things like that?
And Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
I would object to hearsay regarding Mr. Lewis. He's not a party to this case.
Yeah, I didn't hear the question, but if you're asking what mother said, that's fine. If you're asking what Mr. Lewis said, I'll sustain it.
Now, you indicated in your previous testimony that you actually interacted with Ms. Dotson and Mr. Lewis while they were engaged in a verbal altercation at the hospital, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, in regards to Ms. Dotson, if the baby was left in her care, did you believe that she would expose the baby to the baby would be in immediate danger if the baby was released to her care?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were you trying to prevent the harm or potential harm for the child by removing the child before it could get into that dangerous situation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right. Any other questions from anyone for Ms. Mahone?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ms. Mahone, you just said that you removed the child before he could be placed in a dangerous situation, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so that would indicate that you believed that you were keeping the child from being engaged in a situation, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And also, Your Honor, I would request the court to take judicial notice for the court's knowledge. I think that July 8th of 2025, that's when the order establishing parentage was signed, with Mr. Dodson being the father and Mr. Lewis being excluded as the father.
Okay, thank you. So noted.
I'd pass the witness.
All right, anyone else further questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Mahone, was Ms. Dodson's living situation stable at the time you filed your petition?
No, sir.
Okay. And would that have contributed to the concerns about knowingly placing him in a situation that would be a substantial risk, in addition to his in addition to the mother's mental health concerns that you already testified about?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Pass the witness.
Anyone else? All right, then. If no one else has further questions, Mr. Graff, do you need Ms. Mahone to stay?
No, Your Honor, she may be excused. Thank you.
All right, if there's no objections, then Ms. Mahone, I'll remove you so you can go about your day's business. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, St. Francis would call Ms. Sessions as their next witness.
Sessions, if you'd raise your right hand, you swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Graff?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Sessions, what is your current, or who are you currently employed by?
St. Francis Ministries.
Okay, and what is your current position with St. Francis?
I'm a supervisor of permanency and reunification.
Okay, and how long have you been employed with St. Francis?
With St. Francis for 3 years, 3.5 years.
Okay, did you previously work in child welfare prior to your time with St. Francis?
Yes, I was at DFPS for 4 years prior to that.
Okay, and what are your primary duties as a permanency and reunification supervisor?
I am over about 7 permanency specialists and 1 parent support worker. I staff cases with the workers, give direction on the cases, keep them on task, make sure they meet their deadlines, and speak to people throughout the case.
Okay. Do you also have contact with parents?
I do,
Okay.
sometimes.
Okay. And what training or experience do you have in child welfare, permanency planning, and termination cases?
Just the 7 years of experience, 7.5 years of experience in working in the field. We have to do many trainings that are required by the state of Texas.
Okay. Are you familiar with this case involving Kingston Lewis and his parents, Tuesday and Matthew Dodson?
I've been the supervisor on the case since it was transferred to St. Francis.
Okay, so that was in January of this year. Okay.
Yes.
Once you were assigned, how often did you review the case file and the circumstances, either by yourself or in concert with the caseworker?
In at least once a month when we had monthly staffings, but with this case in particular, in the beginning it was pretty weekly that we had discussions regarding Ms. Dodson or other things going on in the case.
Was that unusual in your experience to have weekly staffings?
No, not necessarily. Every case is different. In some cases, there's typically a lot more going on than in others.
Okay. What was it about this case that required the more frequent staffings?
Mom contacting the workers, asking various questions, saying that things were not being done, or then her just disappearing for a while. There was a lot of talk about visitation with mom. Just the things that she would send to the workers through text messages were a little erratic.
Okay. Did you have a lot of contact with mom in this case compared to other cases?
I personally did not. I have only personally had conversations with mom, I think 1, maybe 2 times, and that was towards the beginning of the case.
Okay. Were you responsible to ensure compliance with the child's permanency plan as a supervisor?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have contact with Kingston and his caregivers?
I have not personally seen Kingston. All those monthly visits were done and day-to-day contact were done by the worker, either Tiffany or Sean. I'll be going to see Kingston on Wednesday, but I have not seen him yet.
Okay, but Mr. Ryan has had, since he's had the case, he's had monthly visits?
Correct.
Okay. And Kingston's placement, where is he placed?
He is placed in a foster home.
Okay. And has that placement been the same placement since the beginning of the case?
Yes, it has.
Okay. And is it better for me to ask Mr. Ryan, or can I ask you how is he doing in his placement?
You can ask me. He's doing
Okay.
fantastic. He is a very happy and healthy baby. No developmental delays. He's right on target, meeting his milestones. He's a really, really good baby.
Okay. So no special needs then?
None.
Okay. And how are his caregivers meeting his general needs?
They are meeting his needs well. They're a very experienced foster home. They have adopted several children. They're great.
Okay. And does he have a bond with them?
I would say so.
Okay. And is this an adoptive placement? Are they willing to adopt?
They are.
Okay. While you were assigned, can you say whether the parent signed the family plan of service in the case?
Both parents did sign a family plan of service.
Okay. And you have to review and sign off on that, do you not?
I have to read and approve the family plan before it's ever presented to the parents.
Okay.
Judge, I'm sorry, Mr. Grant, can you clarify when you say parents signed a safety plan? Because we had two fathers at the beginning. Can you just?
Yeah, it was the family plan. Matthew Dodson and Tuesday Dodson both signed their family plan.
And Mr. So all the two alleged fathers actually signed family plans of
Correct.
service, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Because at that time, paternity had not been, that issue had not been resolved.
That is right. And Matthew Lewis maintained that he was the father.
Okay, thank you. And I'm sorry, did you say those were filed with the court?
Yes, I believe so.
And do you know when that was?
It would have been in February. I know that Tuesday signed her plan on or around February 20th. Her signature did not have a date by it, but I do know that there was other internal assessments done at that time with Tiffany Brown and Deja Moore, the parent support worker, and those were all done on 2/20. So I can assume that the family plan was reviewed and signed at that time.
Okay.
And then
Thank you.
Matthew Dodson signed his plan on February 27th, I believe.
Thank you. What services did Ms. Dodson agree to?
She agreed to all services contained within her plan. Do you want them specifically?
Yeah, if you could just list them,
Um,
please.
Counseling, a minimum of 6 sessions, and then as recommended by the therapist for continuing counseling, a parenting class, rational behavior therapy training, a psychological evaluation, drug testing as we needed it, if she tested positive in OSAR, but there was no concerns with that. And then domestic violence support group, because she stated that she was in a domestic violence relationship with Mr. Dodson.
Okay. And were those court ordered for her as part of the reunification plan?
They were at the status hearing.
Okay. Were those services reasonable and necessary to address the child safety issues?
Yes, they were.
Okay. And would it have been necessary for Ms. Dodson to complete them to establish and maintain a safe home environment for Kingston?
It would.
Okay. And would it have also been in Kingston's best interest for her to have completed them?
Yes, it would.
Okay. Specific to Mr. Dodson, what services did he agree to?
Counseling, minimum of 6 sessions, a parenting class, drug testing, and OSAR as needed, a BIP course, and parenting counseling BIP, and that's it.
Okay. And were they likewise court ordered for him as part of the reunification plan?
Yes, they were.
And were those services reasonable and necessary to address the child safety issues?
Yes, they were.
Would it have been necessary for him to complete them to establish and maintain a safe home environment for Kingston?
Yes.
And would it have been in Kingston's best interest for Mr. Dodson to have completed those services?
Yes.
Okay. What if any service referrals did St. Francis make for both parents?
The initial referrals for services for both parents were made in February. Um, they they were set up at the beginning of the case when the services were, or the family plans were prevented to or provided to the parents. Service authorizations were issued again in August for Miss Dodson only, because that's when she resumed contact with St. Francis. And at that point, the service authorization for her counseling sessions had expired.
Okay.
So we had to issue a
And-
new one.
Okay. And do you remember when that was?
The second one,
Mm-hmm.
it was on or around, or maybe a little before August 18th, I believe.
Okay. And how were those referrals communicated to the parents?
They were communicated in the initial meeting with, well, not the initial, subsequent meetings with the worker and with the parent support worker that, hey, your services are set up and ready to go. All you have to do is call and make the appointments.
Okay. Did either parent complete any of their court-ordered services during your time on the case?
Mr. Dodson has not completed any services. Miss Dodson has completed a psychological evaluation, and she has completed rational behavior therapy, and she completed 2 counseling sessions in March, and she completed a 3rd counseling session in August.
Okay. And was either parent able to demonstrate behavioral change or improvement or otherwise apply what they were learning?
They were not. They are still neither in a safe and stable environment, and there's been no change in behavior.
Okay. With regard to the psychological evaluation completed by Ms. Dodson, when was that completed?
That date I don't know, but I can tell you right quick. Let's see. It was completed on March 7th.
Okay. And did it contain any recommendations for additional services?
Yes, it did.
And what do you recall what those recommendations were?
Several different types of therapy, psychotherapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, dialect behavioral therapy, cognitive processing therapy, psychodynamic psychotherapy, psychotherapeutic approach to utilizing techniques and strategies from the following treatment modalities.
Okay. Was St. Francis able to make any follow-up referrals specific to Ms. Dodson?
No, we were not.
And why was that?
Mainly because Miss Dodson has been all over the place through the entire case. She has not remained in one location. She's been back and forth between Amarillo and North Carolina multiple times throughout the case. Currently, I believe that she is in Oklahoma, and we think, I cannot confirm that, but she did mention to Sean Ryan that that she was in okay. She also provided a new phone number to her attorney, Miss Mullinax. That's a 580 number that is an Oklahoma-based area code.
Okay. So would you say that her living situation was stable during the case?
Never.
Okay. What about Mr. Dodson's?
Mr. Dodson, we believe, resides with his father in Georgia. No one has been able to confirm that from St. Francis. The North Carolina worker has not been able to confirm that. And he has, we don't know how stable that house is. No one has been able to evaluate that home for safety. He also has stopped contact with St. Francis as of June, I believe.
Okay. And you heard Ms. Mahone's testimony. Did he ever make a similar representation of St. Francis that he was not in a position in his current situation to parent Kingston?
He did. And in fact, in the beginning, he did not even want to have visitations with Kingston. He refused all attempts to set up virtual visitation with Kingston.
Okay. And on that note, did either parent maintain consistent contact with Kingston?
No, they did not.
Okay. how much contact were you and your permanency workers able to have with the parents? You kind of laid out the situation with Mr. Dodson. What about the mother?
As far as visitation,
Or just contact, general contact with the parent?
contact with Miss Dodson has been sporadic throughout the case. She will go on, have bouts where she's communicating very regularly, and then she'll fall out, and then she'll show back up, and then she'll fall back out. And it's been that way through the entire case.
Okay. Did either parent, since St. Francis, have been involved, identify any potential relatives for placement?
There is one potential relative that I believe is a sister of Miss Dodson. She lives, I think, in Georgia. She has reached out, I think, to St. Francis one time. I know that she has not had has not had very regular contact with North Carolina either. But Miss Dodson had stated, I believe, in the adversary hearing or the status hearing, that she did not want Kingston placed with Miss Page.
Were you ever able to investigate the suitability of this maternal aunt?
No,
Why
no
not?
one has been. She has not provided the necessary information to start an ICPC.
Okay. Did either parent provide, or were they ever in a position during the lifetime of the case to provide a safe environment to Kingston?
No, they have not.
Okay, what were the safety concerns identified? Well, I mean, strike that. Were the safety concerns identified at the outset by DFPS ever mitigated during the case such that Kingston could be returned to either parent?
No, they were not.
Okay. Do you have a current address for the mother?
No, we do not.
Okay.
I only, sorry, go ahead.
Well, you said you believe she may be in Oklahoma.
That is correct.
Did she make any recent representations that she was back in Amarillo?
Not since July. In July, she said that she was in Amarillo.
Okay, and did you have reason to confirm where she said she was living?
Yes.
And what
She
did you learn?
stated in a court hearing for the North Carolina case that she provided an exact address in Amarillo, Texas. As soon as that hearing was over, Sean Ryan went to that address, and they said that they had no idea where she was, or who that person was.
Okay. Are you satisfied that St. Francis has made reasonable efforts towards reunification and permanency in this case?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. Pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Monax.
Ms. Sessions, you said that there were several things recommended in the psychological evaluation, correct?
Yes.
And you said that you weren't able to make any follow-up referrals because she was back and forth between North Carolina and Amarillo and then possibly Oklahoma, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you attempt to make any referrals for these so that she can complete them in Amarillo or somewhere else?
So when a parent resides out of state, we rely on the parents to find providers in their area, because we don't have contracts with people. So at that point, the parents are tasked with or requesting or finding their own providers, and then we will get a contract with that provider to set them up for services in their area. And Miss Dodson has been referred to therapy in Texas, but because she was residing in North Carolina and Oklahoma, our Texas providers cannot provide services to her.
So did anyone convey to Ms. Dodson that she needed to find her own providers in North Carolina or in Oklahoma?
Not North Carolina, because she has a service plan out of North Carolina that has the providers that she would need to use on that case.
Did anybody convey to her that she would need to contact those same providers for the Texas case in her North Carolina case?
I'm not sure about. I did not personally do that, so I do not know.
And you listed off at the some of the things that she had done. She actually did 2 sessions with Padre as well, correct?
That's possibly true, that she completed those 2 parenting classes out of 12. She was dismissed from Padre.
And with regard to Oklahoma, has she been in contact with you since she's been in Oklahoma that you're aware of?
No, she's only contacted Sean Ryan.
And with regard to her service, well, actually, with regard to Mr. Dodson's service plan, he was ordered to complete BIP. Was he ever an alleged perpetrator on Ms. Dodson?
Yes, he was.
Did that come from her, or did she say that Mr. Lewis was the perpetrator?
That came from Tuesday, that Matthew Dodson was domestically violent towards her throughout their marriage.
And with regard to the service plan, that was entered, I believe it was filed on February 24th. Do you have any reason to disagree with that?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Were you aware that the parenting class phone number in that is not a correct phone number for her to contact?
No.
And she submitted to several UAs during the case too. Is that right? In a hair follicle?
She did in the beginning of the case. She has subsequently not screened in several months.
And at the beginning of the case, would it be safe to say that drug use was not a concern for Ms. Dodson?
Yes, ma'am, that would be fair to say.
And you said that, I think it was the parenting class, that the 2054 had expired and it had to be reissued in August. Is that right?
So we don't actually send, we don't have to send a referral for parenting classes or send a 2054 for parenting classes. We send the referral to the provider and the provider will contact the parents to set that up.
And actually, I think I misspoke. The counseling is the one that expired and you had to resend it, correct?
Yes, ma'am. It was originally issued in February. They put 6 months, 6-month time limit on those. And so it would have expired in August. And then that's when she contacted and it was immediately reissued for her to
And
resume counseling.
And so the Padre class is the parenting class, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so they don't have to have a payment referral for that because there's not charged for that, or why is that?
Right. Yeah, right. It's just there's just not a payment needed for that class. We just send them the referral. And most parents are typically referred to that class through an OSAR evaluation also. So that's covered by the state of Texas, but we don't have to send 2054s.
And in this case, there wasn't an OSAR that referred because she didn't have to take an OSAR, right?
Yes, ma'am. She never tested positive.
I'd pass the witness.
Wiggins?
Thank you, Judge. I'd like the court to take judicial notice of the status or hearing order that was filed on, let's see, March 11th of 2025.
All right, so noted.
And that it contained in there the court ordering them to complete the service plans that were filed on February 24th of 2025.
So noted.
Now, in regards to Ms. Sessions, in regards to Ms. Dotson, is it fair to say since she started some of her services that she understood and knew what her services were?
I would agree.
And would you also agree that that is a major effort for the department to have reasonable efforts to return the children?
Yes, it is.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the parent and Ms. Dotson and her visitation with the child. How many visitations did she have approximately with the child? And if you don't know, let me phrase it in a different way. When we first removed the child, did the mother have visitation originally?
Yes, she did.
Okay. Was there at some point in time when that visitation stopped?
Yes, there was.
And what time was that?
It was early on. I want to say maybe May or June.
Okay. If we have information that it possibly was the end of March, would that be reasonable for the department?
Yes. Yes, it would.
Okay.
And I can pull that up exactly.
Okay. Yeah. If you wouldn't mind pulling that up. I don't want to say something that's not accurate.
I do not either. Let's see. Let's see, sorry. March would probably be correct.
Okay. Now, in regards to the mother's communication with the department as well, that was inconsistent as well. Is that correct?
That is true. Through the whole case.
And in regards to her visitation with the child, would you say that she has not regularly visited or maintained significant contact with the child?
That is true.
Okay. And additionally, she hasn't even maintained contact with St. Francis for you to facilitate or try to facilitate visitation.
That is true.
Okay. And it's important for a child to have consistency. Would you agree?
I would agree.
And so it would be potentially detrimental for a child for the mom to have inconsistent visitation, given that she was very inconsistent in her communication.
Yes.
And was that the reason behind her not having any visitation since March of 2025?
Yes. And that is also why they stopped.
Okay. And in regards to the mother, you are previously testified that she has demonstrated an inability to provide the child with a safe environment. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And that's especially due with you indicated that she completed the rational behavior training, of 3 counseling sessions and 2 Padre parenting classes. Is that correct?
Yes,
And she did a psychological evaluation.
she did.
But the issue for removal was mental health. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And she has not completed any services in regards to mental health.
No, she has not.
And so would you say that it's a potential danger for the child in a safe environment if a person has mental health issues and they don't address them?
I would agree.
Would you also agree that stability in location and placement is important as well for a child?
Absolutely.
And has the mother had consistent residence during the course of the case?
Never.
And when was the child removed from the department?
January
Okay, January 2025.
2025. Yes.
So the child has been in the care, or the temporary management conservatorship of the department for 6 months.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Dotson has never had a visit with the child. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Has he refused essentially to have visitation with the child?
He did.
Okay. And so would you say that he has not regularly visited or maintained significant contact with the child?
No, he has not. Has not.
And the department made a reasonable effort to return the child to him by issuing a service plan. Is that correct?
Yes,
And he has yet to complete any services at all. Is that a fair statement?
that is fair.
And has he demonstrated an inability to provide a safe environment with the child?
Yes, he has.
And can you elaborate on that?
Just not allowing anyone access to his home, not giving anybody any information needed to go check out his home. He does not work from what we know. He does not have transportation. He relies on his father for that. And we cannot evaluate him like for drugs because he has never gone to drug screen. So we don't really know. I mean, he hasn't demonstrated he's safe at all.
Okay. And he also did not complete the Batters Intervention and Prevention Program or any similar service to help with the domestic violence Ms. Dotson indicated was in the relationship.
Correct.
And it would be a danger, not a safe environment for a child to return to a home with domestic violence.
That is true.
I'll pass the witness, Judge. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you believe it's in the child's? Well, never mind. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Right, anyone further questions for Ms. Sessions?
Just briefly, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ms. Sessions, are you familiar with Ms. Dodson's service plan in North Carolina?
The specifics of it, no, I am not.
Okay. Are you aware of whether or not mental health treatment is a component of it?
Objection, speculation.
I just asked if she was aware.
Well, yeah, or if you're aware, you can answer yes, you're aware, no, you're not. That's it.
I am not aware.
Okay. Do you know if North Carolina has returned her children to her?
They have not.
Okay. Thank you. Pass the witness.
Anyone else?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ms. Sessions, you said that Tuesday had not completed any mental health requirements in our service plan. Which ones are directed toward her mental health?
Well, the recommendations from the psychological would be directed towards mental health. Ongoing therapy would be directed towards mental health. We would like to see her go to, well, the part of the stuff that's offered or that was recommended is offered through TPC here in Amarillo. But we've not been able to make that referral because she has not been in Amarillo for a substantial period of time.
And there was not a service required for her to contact TPC. Is that correct?
No, that was not ever ordered. No.
And you testified that the department had made reasonable efforts to return the child to the mother, correct?
Yes,
And you also testified that she has not regularly visited or maintained significant contact with the child. Is that right?
that is correct.
And in order for a termination on that, there has to be at least 6 months that's not happened. She was visiting in March, correct?
Visits, I'm not sure the exact date the visit stopped in March.
But they stopped in March. And are you aware that a court order on July 8th of 2025 suspended her visitation?
Yes, I am.
So would you agree that the end of March until July 8th would not have been 6 months?
I would agree. Yes,
And after that, she could not visit because her visits were suspended by this court, correct?
that is correct. But she also did not do what she needed to do to get her visits
That's
reinstated.
non-responsive, Your Honor.
Okay.
Pass the witness.
Anyone else further questions for Ms. Sessions?
Just a little bit, Judge.
Okay.
In regards to the visitation with the child, is it fair to say that the court makes decisions regarding visitation of the best interest of the child?
Yes,
And the court makes those decisions based off information on whether or not the child is, one, consistently having contact with the child, and two, if they are doing the services they need to mitigate the reasons for removal.
yes,
And so would you say that those are basically in the hands of the parents, that it's the parent that controls visitation based on their behavior and actions?
yes.
Okay. I'll pass that, Ms. Judge.
Anyone else?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. If no one else, then Mr. Graff, you have any other witnesses?
Just one more witness, Your Honor. That would be Mr. Ryan.
Mr. Ryan, if you raise your right hand, you swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Mr. Graff?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ryan. What is your current position with St. Francis Ministries?
Permanency specialist at St. Francis Ministries.
And how long have you been employed with St. Francis?
Exactly a year.
Okay. And what are your primary duties as permanency specialist?
To have a family reunification plan, keep track of the parents' services, what they're doing, visit the child monthly, things like that. Yes, sir.
Okay. And what training or experience do you have in child welfare, permanency planning, and termination cases?
I had to do an ITP, which is it's a whole 6-month long training of what to do and how to certify yourself as a permanency specialist.
So ITP, is that intensive training program?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Are you familiar with the case involving Kingston Lewis and parents Tuesday and Matthew Dotson?
Yes, sir.
And how so?
I am their permanency specialist, their caseworker on this case.
Okay. And when were you assigned?
I believe back in May, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. And since you were assigned, how often do you review the child's case file and the case circumstances?
Weekly.
Okay. And are you responsible also for ensuring compliance with the child's permanency plan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you have contact with Kingston and his caregivers?
Yes, sir.
And you agree with Ms. Sessions' testimony about his current placement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how would you say he's doing in that placement?
He's doing really well. He's a very, very happy child. He's all caught up on all his dental medical appointments. And there's no concerns for any regarding health at all.
Okay. And do you agree with Ms. Sessions' statement that he's bonded with his foster parents?
Absolutely.
And how would you say they are doing meeting his needs?
They do very well. Like Ms. Sessions said, they're very experienced. So this is not their first rodeo.
Okay. Since you were assigned, did the parents sign an updated family plan of service in the case?
The updated one, no. They do have a signed family plan of service from back when Tiffany Brown assigned it to them, though. Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you attempt to create a revised one at some point after you were assigned?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But why did they not sign it?
Matthew, I have not really heard from him in about a couple months. He stopped his communication with us, and as of Tuesday, Dotson, the communication's been inconsistent.
Okay. Did you nonetheless file prepared FPOS with the court?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat
Did
the
you
question?
nonetheless file what you had prepared in terms of the family plan of
Yes.
service? Okay. Do you remember when that was?
I don't off the top of my head.
Okay. But that was after you were assigned in May. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Would that have been around on or around June 30th?
I was gonna say probably around June.
Okay. All right. You heard Ms. Sessions' testimony about the service plan. Do you agree that the services that were ultimately court ordered in this case were reasonable and necessary to address the child safety issues?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And would it have been necessary for the parents to complete them to establish and maintain a safe home environment for Kingston?
Yes, sir.
Would it have been in Kingston's best interest for the parents to have completed them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you able to make any service referrals during your time on the case?
Yes, sir. I did her individual therapy for at Rolling Plains, and that was on 8/18.
Okay. And how did you communicate the referral?
Me and Becky, she reached out to me saying that she does need a new referral because Tuesday made contact with her and said that she wanted to schedule some more counseling appointments. So I went ahead and made the referral instantly.
Did she make any of the counseling appointments since August?
Yes, as of August, she's made one
Okay.
up to date.
Okay. Do you agree with Ms. Sessions' testimony regarding the completion or lack of completion of court-ordered services during your time on the case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would you say that either parent was able to demonstrate behavioral change or improvement or otherwise apply what they, at least what the mother had learned uh, uh, with the small number of services that she completed?
No, sir.
Okay. So you made one referral for the individual counseling after the provider reached out to you in August. Were you able to make any follow-up referrals from the psychological evaluation?
I was not, just due to not knowing where Tuesday is currently residing.
Okay. And was there a period of time where she had some legal complications?
Yes, sir. There was Rebecca Eifert, her caseworker in North Carolina. We maintain contact pretty often. She reported to me that there was.
Hearsay.
Okay. Are you aware of whether or not mother spent any time in jail since your appointment?
Yes, sir. It was reported on 6/9 that
Hearsay.
What was reported to you on 6/9, Sean?
on 6/9, Matthew Lewis
Don't tell me what. Who reported it to you? I guess is my question.
Rebecca Eifert, sir.
Okay. Same as to hearsay.
Okay. Are you aware of whether mother or not was involved in any domestic violence incidences
Yes, sir.
while you've been involved? Were you able to discuss those with the mother?
I did. She just, when I had brought up the assault charge, she had told me that it was that the charges were dismissed and that it was due to rough sex was the exact word she used.
Okay. Were you able to confirm whether or not the charges were dismissed?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Was the mother's living situation stable during your time on the case?
No, sir.
What about Mr. Dodson's?
Matthew, he reported to me that he is living with his father at the moment. He does not have a job, but this was back in June. I haven't had contact with him since.
Have you made attempts to contact him since June?
Yes, sir. Emails and phone calls, text messages as well.
Okay. And you heard Ms. Sessions' testimony. The court did cancel visits at some point.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What was the mother's frequency of visitation at that point? Was she consistent or inconsistent?
It was inconsistent. At one point she would cancel because she said she had medical issues or medical reasons.
I'm confused about the time frame he's talking about. Can he clarify the time frame?
Do you recall when the visits were canceled by the court?
Yes, it was in the last hearing.
Okay, so
Let's just, for the record to be clear, the last hearing, I canceled the visits at the initial permanency hearing on July 7th, 2025.
okay, thank you. And can you provide with some specificity to Ms. Mullinix's question, mother's consistency with visitation up to that point?
I don't believe she had a visit since the 31st of March, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. And why was that?
There was inconsistency with like I
Your Honor,
said.
speculation. He already testified. He's only had this case since May.
Overruled. You've reviewed the file, haven't you, Mr. Ryan?
Yes, sir.
You can answer.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, Tuesday, she would always give us an excuse on, like, you know, she had a doctor's appointment, she had a medical reason to why she could not. She didn't want to get Tuesday sick. And then during that time from March to around our hearing, she was residing in North Carolina, so she didn't have any visits. She didn't reach out very much at all, actually, for supervised visitations. She would ask for pictures, which I have provided, and an update on Kingston as well. But that's all the information I have on that.
Thank you. How much contact would you say you've been able to have with the parents since you've been involved with the case?
For Matthew, it was for, you know, the 2 months that I did have him. And then after that, like I said, I haven't heard from him since. That was it back in June. And then Tuesday, she does have contact with me, I would say, every month. That is very inconsistent, though. I don't know how else to answer.
Does your experience with the mother appear, let me strike that. With your experience and contacts that you've had with the mother since you were assigned, has the mother appeared to take any responsibility for her situation, or does she tend to blame others?
Yes, sir. I wouldn't say that she takes responsibility.
Okay. Has either parent been able to provide or provided a safe environment for Kingston since you've been on the case?
No, sir.
Were the safety concerns identified at the outset ever mitigated while you've had the case?
Yes, sir.
They were mitigated, or they were not?
I mean, no, sorry. No, they were not mitigated. I apologize.
Okay. Has either parent constructively abandoned Kingston, in your opinion?
Yes, sir.
Object,
I can say that.
legal conclusion, Your Honor.
Overruled. He's answered. You can go on, Mr. Graff, and we need to kind of hurry up. We're
just about done, Your Honor. Thank you. Mr. Ryan, if you could just answer that question about constructive abandonment.
He said yes, that they have.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. Would you agree they knowingly placed or knowingly allowed Kingston to remain in conditions or surroundings which endanger his physical or emotional well-being?
Yes, sir.
Would you agree they've engaged in conduct which endangered his physical and emotional well-being?
Yes, sir.
And based on your involvement in the case, do you believe termination of parental rights is in the child's best interest?
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
They have not complied with the family plan of service. They have not maintained stability as well. It's another big concern. The child to be returned back home.
What risks would the child face if parental rights were not terminated?
Stability, providing for his basic needs.
Right. Kingston is not old enough to express any wishes regarding permanency, is he?
No, sir.
Okay. How would termination of his parental rights affect his ability to find a permanent home?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question one more time?
How would termination of the parental rights affect his ability to find a permanent home?
Well, he would be in a safe and stable home with the current placement he's in. It would not, I should say.
Okay. And he would be free for adoption at that point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If termination is granted, is that the permanency plan for Kingston?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Sessions already identified that these are potential adoptive placements, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What steps has St. Francis taken to endure his long-term stability and well-being?
We check in with him monthly to make sure he has all his doctor's appointments, medical, just anything medical related, all caught up to date. And we do monthly walk through the house, talk to the caregiver about what they're providing, see if there's any safety concerns, things like that.
If the parents were here and made themselves available to participate in services, would all referrals have been made for court-ordered services?
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there anything else you believe the court should know about the Kingston circumstances?
Not at this time.
Okay. In your professional opinion, do you believe that termination of Mr. and Mrs. Dodson's parental rights is in his best interest?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Shauna, at the adversary hearing on February 3rd, I ordered paternity testing on Matthew Dodson. Was that completed?
Yes, sir. It is confirmed that Matthew Dodson is the father.
And is that paternity test on file in this case?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Mullinex.
Mr. Ryan, prior to me giving you a new phone number for Ms. Dodson last week, when was the last time you had been in contact with her?
I believe it was this month through email, via email.
And
Or at the end of
you
last
emailed,
month, I should say.
you emailed her on August 8th asking for her to get in contact with you. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then would you agree with me that she responded to you on August 24th of 2025?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you ever respond to her via email from
did, yes, ma'am.
that August 24th?
Yes,
When
ma'am,
did you do that?
It was, I think, a few days prior. I believe that, yeah, a few days prior, if I'm not mistaken, like after.
3 days after the email?
I believe so, yeah. I can't remember the specific date. But
All right, y'all are talking.
Okay, when I contacted you last week, you didn't tell me that you had responded to her email, correct?
yes, ma'am.
You actually told me that you would respond to her and copy me on that email, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you didn't do that, did you?
I did respond to her.
Did you copy me on that email?
I did not copy on email, but I did respond to her.
Okay, so why didn't you do that if you told me you were going to do that?
I was just answering Tuesday's question. I wasn't providing her with anything.
Okay, and you said that Rolling Hills, I think it is, had contacted you before she contacted you via email, correct?
Can you repeat the question one more time?
You said that you sent a new 2054 to Rolling Hills because Becky Reyes or somebody had contacted you on August 18th, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And had Tuesday contacted you about that issue or not until August 24th?
No, not until August 24th. Becky Reyes reached out to me saying that she was going to reach out to her and that she needed a new referral. So I gave it to her instantly.
And so after you responded to the email was regarding the DV support class and her parenting classes. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you tell Tuesday that she didn't need a 2054 for those different services?
Those were Tuesday has known this. This was through text message months prior as well. I've told her that we don't need to send new 2054s, but she keeps trying to shift it on me. What she did need a new referral for?
My question is, when did you tell her that?
When did I tell her that?
Yes.
I've told her this months ago.
Okay. And you say you told her months ago, but last week you told me you would send them and then had to call me back because your supervisor said you didn't have to send them, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And so why did you have to ask your supervisor and call me back if you had told Tuesday before that you didn't have to send them?
I just wanted to verify that was the correct information.
And with regard to these services recommended through the psychological evaluation, have you ever had a conversation with Tuesday regarding these additional services that you needed to do referrals for?
No, just due to very unstable contact, honestly.
But you've had contact with her. You testified you have contact with her monthly, right?
Inconsistently.
And so this psychological was March 7th. So you had April, May, June, July, and August to tell her about them, and you didn't, correct?
No, ma'am. I told her she needed to see what was on her family plan of service.
And you were able to contact her through email all of those months, is that right?
She had a working phone at that time. We've had phone conversations, we've had text message conversations about all her services.
So you've had text message conversations and phone conversations about all her services, and all you said was check her family plan of service, right?
No, ma'am. We provided her with the family plan of service and what needed to be done via email as well.
And you said check your family plan of service instead of specifically going over the psychological recommendations that you needed to make referrals for, right?
Correct.
And pass the witness.
Ms. Wiggins, briefly.
Yes, Judge. So you answered together, but I want to ask you individually. Do you believe it's in the child's best interest that the mother's rights be terminated?
Yes, ma'am.
And why do you believe that?
Just because of the instability that Tuesday's showing us. We don't think it's a safe environment for her to be in, for Kingston to be in.
Okay. In regards to the father, Mr. Dotson, do you believe it's in the child's best interest for his rights to be terminated?
Yes, ma'am.
And why do you believe that?
Same reason. He hasn't provided anything that he's worked on. We've provided his family plan multiple times. And he's never returned a positive drug screen or maintain contact with St. Francis Ministries.
Okay. Does St. Francis have the ability to pay for drug screens where he is?
Yes, ma'am.
And so he never submitted to a drug screen in North Carolina, even though the department was able to pay?
Yes, ma'am. No, he's never been.
Okay. And in regards to the child, you said the long-term plan for the child is for the current foster placement to adopt if the parents' rights are terminated.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you believe that's in the child's best interest?
Yes, ma'am.
Pass the witness, Judge.
John, you said that Mr. Dotson never provided a positive drug screen. Did you mean a negative drug screen?
Oh, yeah. He never went to drug screen at all for us.
Okay. All right. Anybody have further questions for Mr. Ryan?
No questions, Your Honor. I would just move to admit petitioner's trial exhibits 1 through 8, which are just pleadings that were previously filed in this matter from the petition to the initial permanency hearing.
All right, any objections?
Your
Right.
Honor, I object to the affidavit in Petitioner's Exhibit 1. It's the affidavit for removal. Just because it's a filing doesn't mean that it's admissible automatically. It contains hearsay from Matthew Lewis and a caseworker out of North Carolina. So if those are redacted, I don't have any objection to the rest of it.
I'll just petitioners 2 through 8 are admitted. Petitioners 1 is not. Okay, Mr. Graff, you rest.
Yes, Your Honor. Rest and close.
All right, Mr. Mullinex, any witnesses?
I don't have any witnesses, Your Honor. I would indicate that my client last week wished that I request that this be a permanency hearing because she is working her services. So that's what I'm doing, Your Honor.
All right, that will be denied. All right, then, Ms. Wiggins, recommendations.
Thank you, Judge. I do believe it's in the child's best interest that the parental rights of the mother and the father, Mr. Dotson, are terminated, and that the placement should be continued with the foster family. He's doing very well there. They're able to take care of all of his needs.
Okay. All right, then, based on the evidence I've heard today, as well as the exhibits that have been admitted, I do find that it's in the best interest of the child, Kingston Lewis, that the parental rights of the mother, Tuesday Dotson, and the father, Matthew Dotson, be terminated. I'll terminate the rights to each parent today based on Texas Family Code Section 161.001, subsections B1, N as in Nancy. I will name the department permanent managing conservator. I will continue Kingston's current placement. Ms. Mullinax, on behalf of the Randall County Domestic Relations Office, will be continued in the case as Kingston's attorney ad litem. All other court
Judge,
appointed.
I think you mean Ms. Wiggins. You said Ms. Mullinax.
I'm sorry, yeah, Ms. Wiggins for Randall County Domestic Relations Office is continued. All other court-appointed relationships will be dismissed after all appellate and de novo periods have expired. Ms. Mullinax, if you would explain to your client her appellate and de novo appellate rights. All right, I'll set our next review hearing in this case for December 1st, 2025. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so any parties still involved in the case can go on the court's online docket a day or two before December 1st to see exactly what time we'll have that hearing. Okay, we'll
Thank
be
you,
in
Ron.
recess on this case. I'll be back immediately to call a Randall County case on the Stringer child. That is a compliance hearing following in order to participate. So we'll be in recess. Everybody have a good week.
Thank you. You too.
Thank y'all. This is a compliance hearing following an order to participate on the Stringer child. Ms. Wiggins is with us representing the child. Mr. Nowak is with us representing the mother, Mrs. Stringer. She is with us. Mr. Hill's with us representing the father, Mr. Stringer. I don't know if he's with us or not. He's not in my waiting room, Mr. Hill. He could be with Mrs. Stringer. Is he with you?
No, Judge, he wouldn't be. I
Okay.
spoke to him earlier this morning. He didn't sound well. He sounded like he didn't feel good. He said he didn't feel good. I would not be surprised if he was iffy as to whether or not he would make it. He said the child was teething or something last night, and he was up all night with the child, and sounded like he was having a bad morning. I can try and contact him and see if he intends to be here, or we can just proceed.
We'll go ahead since I'm running late already. I'll watch the waiting room for him. I have Desiree Riggs, Cherie Hughes, and Crystal Potts in the waiting room.
Cherie Hughes and Desiree Riggs is actually for another hearing. I don't recognize the Cox name, Your Honor.
Potts, Potts.
Okay,
Crystal.
I think she's a caseworker on another case.
Okay. All right, then we are ready to proceed, Ms. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Your Honor. Is Cherie in? Yes.
She is. But she's not connected to the audio yet. Let's give her a second. I don't think she is.
Yes,
Ms.
sir.
Hughes, can you hear me, Ms. Hughes?
Yes.
Oh, okay. She's just with us. If you'd raise your right hand, ma'am, you swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Your Honor. We start by asking the court to take judicial notice of the compliance report filed on September 3rd of 2025.
All right, so noted, and I did read that report.
Thank you, Your Honor. And the department calls Cherie Hughes as its witness.
Okay, I've just swore in.
Thank you, Your Honor. Cherie, you are the caseworker for the Family-Based Safety Services case of the Stringers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And in your court report, you indicated that both parents are working services. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
However, would you agree that that maybe Ms. Stringer isn't working services as fast as may be necessary?
I think there's been a little bit of delay, yes. But I have talked to some providers since I filed my report. And as far as the rational behavior therapy class, I need to update on that. They are waiting for her to contact them to let them know. She did sign in, but she left at some point. They don't know what part she left at. So if she can let them know kind of exactly where she left, they can either give her credit or she will need to retake the class. We just kind of need to know that part. And then as far as her drug screen, she's done those well. I am waiting on that last drug screen that was done on August the 27th. And she's been at every visit with Scotty at the office. Those have gone really well. And then on the other ones, as far as Centacor, they did not have a release, so they couldn't confirm or deny whether she's been there. So I just need to have that release signed.
Let me interrupt for a second. Mr. Stringer just joined the waiting room. Let me get him in.
Alrighty.
All right, for the record, Mr. Stringer has now joined us. Ms. Gutierrez, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Ms. Hughes, going through Ms. Stringer's services, it sounds like she may have completed rational behavior therapy, but we don't know. Is that correct?
Yes, she needs to contact them and let them know where exactly she left.
Did she complete her psychological evaluation?
She did.
Do we have the results back?
We do not.
Okay. And how is she doing on her individual counseling?
She, as far as I know from the counseling office, she's made 2 appointments, but they have not seen or heard from her from the last one. They considered her a no-call, no-show. So I don't have any update on if there's a new appointment of any kind.
In her parenting classes, how is she progressing?
As far as I know, she has started her parenting class. They said that she has attended at least 1 session.
Now, regarding the releases, those were ordered in the temporary order for required participation. Is that correct?
Correct.
So we're just asking the mom to comply with that order. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And her prior drug screens, she was positive, but it was for marijuana. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. In regards to Senecor for the release, can you give us more details? I mean, has she attended or stated she attended a program?
I have not had any update on if she's attended any type of program.
Okay, so why do we think there are records at Senecor that we need to get?
They told me they could not, when I gave them her name, it took them a second and then they just stated they did not have a release of any kind, so they could not confirm or deny, that she's been there.
Okay, and for clarification, has mom stated that she's been to Senecor for some type of treatment?
I have not spoken with mom. All of my communication goes through Mr. Nowak.
Okay, thank you. I'll move along. And how is Mr. Stringer complying with services?
His counseling session, I believe, begins on September the 20th. He has completed parenting. He completed a parenting class, the 365 father, back in April, and we accepted that as a recent parenting class. And then he completed the rational behavior therapy class.
Thank you. And do we have any concerns about Mr. Stringer with the child at this time?
No, ma'am.
Alrighty. Do we think it's in the child's best interest that this order for their required participation continue?
Yes, ma'am.
And are we asking that a compliance hearing be set 2 to 3 months out?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, pass the witness.
Mr. Nowak?
Thank you, Judge. And Cherie, it's always good to see you. And as always, thanks for taking my phone calls all the time. And thanks for all the great updates. It seems like we got off to a slow start, but would you agree with me that Teresa Stringer is on the right path at this moment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'll call her in a moment to clear some stuff up. But Cherie, that's all I have. Thank you so much. Pass the witness, Judge.
Mr. Hill?
Oh, one more thing, if I might. And I'm so sorry. Hey, Cherie, the minute we're done, will you email me the release that you need signed, and I'll make sure that happens?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Hill?
No questions, Judge.
All right, Ms. Wiggins.
I have no question, Judge.
All right, then. Ms. Gutierrez, anything further from the department?
Nothing further, Your Honor. We're just asking that this order, these required participation for the parents continue, as well as that a compliance hearing be set 2 to 3 months out.
All right. All right, Mr. Nowak, any witnesses?
Just briefly, my client, Teresa Stringer, Judge.
All right. Ms. Stringer, if you'd unmute, thank you, ma'am. If you'd raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nowak.
Teresa, good to see you. And we're running about 30 minutes late today, so I'm going to be real brief. Talk to us about this rational behavior training. It looks like you checked out of class a little early. What happened there?
My Wi-Fi, excuse me, they've been doing work on my Wi-Fi lines, so I lost about the last hour, 45 minutes of the class.
Okay,
Like
now it's on.
45 minutes to an hour.
Thank you. Now it's on you to call that provider and get that information to that provider and get that last hour made up. Can you do that?
Yes.
All right. Tell me about Senecor.
I have an appointment with Senecor on Tuesday at 1 p.m. and also on Wednesday at 11.
Okay. And you mentioned to me that you're paying for some of your services. Is that accurate?
Yes, and that's why things have gotten off to a slow start. I work about 50 hours a week, 12-hour days, and just to be able to pay for these, it was going to be $250 for the first assessment, $150 per class after that.
Your Honor,
Paying for parenting classes as well.
can we get some clarification on which services she's paying for?
Yeah, what are you having to pay for, Ms. Stringer?
Senecor, for the original assessment, it is $250, and per session after that is $150 is what I was told. So that's why it took me a few weeks to gather the funds together to go.
Okay, well, you go ahead and finish your questioning, but I'm not seeing that. I don't know why she should be paying for her own services. So.
And that, I wanted to bring that up to, especially for Sharita here, so that maybe we can get together and get whatever we need to get to Senecor. And I think, Teresa, you told me you're paying $20 a parenting class.
Yes, sir.
If you and I can address those two things afterwards, that'd be great. When you send me the release, just send me whatever information I need to move this along to where the department's paying. Teresa, just Keep up the good work. We'll get this stuff paid for. Judge, that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Anyone else have questions for Ms. Stringer?
I have just a couple. Ms. Stringer, what are you asking Senate Court to give you treatment for?
Honestly, not entirely sure. My assessment is on Tuesday at 1 over the phone, and I'm pretty sure I would find out more information. I also have counseling classes that start on the 18th.
I'm gonna object to non-responsive just so that we can keep it short.
Go ahead. Just go ahead and ask your questions.
Okay, what are you, Senate Court is a substance abuse treatment facility, is that correct?
I don't know what Senate is.
Okay, I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Wiggins,
No question, Judge.
Mr. Hill.
No questions, Judge.
Ms. Stringer, did you say they told you the initial assessment that I guess you're doing tomorrow is $200?
$250, Your Honor.
All right, you don't pay that. If we can't work this out, then you don't need to go to that appointment because they probably won't see if it's not paid for, but I don't want you paying for anything out of your pocket. So,
Yes, Your Honor. And that's what I was told, that they would not see me without the money being given to them first off.
well, we'll get to the bottom of that. I don't know if we need to do it during this hearing, but this court's not going to order you to do services unless the department's requesting you do them. If you're going to do them, they're going to pay for them. So.
Thank you, Your Honor.
None? All right. Let's see, Ms. Gutierrez, anything further from the department?
Yes, Your Honor, the department, I'm checking the order for required participation to see if there is a substance abuse assessment through OSAR. I believe the statute on the OTPs under which this petition was filed required the parents to pay for their services if they're going through their own chosen provider. However, if it's an assessment she's needing, I think that could be done through OSAR to determine whether or not she needs treatment. Also, Your Honor, the department historically has not paid for substance abuse treatment. We will do the referral for the OSAR assessment, and let me finish looking at this so I can tell you whether or not that's already been ordered. Yes, Your Honor, there is an order for a drug and alcohol assessment, and that's already been ordered, Your Honor. We ask that that specifically be ordered through outreach, screening, assessment, and referral. Hopefully that will cut that cost for Ms. Stringer. However, if she does choose to go to a different provider, we request that she be responsible financially as per the Texas Family Code.
All right, Ms. Stringer, did you pick Senecor on your own?
Your Honor, that was what was in the order, and it had a phone number for me to call.
Okay, so somebody put the wrong phone number in there, I guess. So, okay, you don't go to Senecor. This OSAR, I can't remember, outreach, substance abuse referral. Is that
Yes,
whatever it is? They'll get with you. You can get this assessment done through OSAR at their cost, not yours. So your worker will get with you, and so you just don't worry about going to Senecor tomorrow. So.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You bet. Okay, Ms. Gutierrez, anything further from the department?
No, Your Honor, just a compliance hearing, please.
Okay, and Mr. Nowak, any witnesses?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Hill.
No witnesses, Judge.
All right, Ms. Wiggins, recommendations?
I do believe it's in the child's best interest that the order to participate continues and mom can complete her services. The child is doing well with the father. We have nothing to add.
Okay. All right, then I'll just order that both parents continue to work the services that have previously been ordered, with the exception of Ms. Stringer will attend the OSAR assessment rather than anything to do with Senecor at this time, and follow any recommendations made from that OSAR assessment. So, okay, I've got compliance dates. I can do one. This might be a little quick. I've got October 6th, or I've got November 3rd.
November 3rd, I think, would be better, Your Honor.
Okay. Then I will set a compliance hearing just like today's hearing for November 3rd, 2025. Parties can either talk to their lawyers, or anyone can go on the court's online docket a day or two before November 3rd to see exactly what time of day we'll have that hearing. So sorry we were running late, but we'll be in recess. Everybody have a good week.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank y'all.